Good afternoon from the beautiful state of Montana. You know, I've always loved Montana. It's always been one of my favorite states to drive through, even when I was a truck driver. So today I figured I'd shoot on over to Montana and go check out a ghost town. Why not, right? Some ghost town I heard about here in the Garnet Mountains called the Garnet Ghost Town. A ghost town from the 1800s, an old mining town from the 1800s that once had 1,000 people in it back in its heyday. So I figured I'd cruise up this little back road, go see what it's all about. And I figured I'd take you guys along with me. Right now we're kind of just cruising up this paved section of the road, but I guess 6.5 miles of this road will be unpaved. So I guess we're gonna find out what it's about and hope it doesn't get too rough. See you in a little bit. Well, we've came across our first cabin here, kind of coming up this road. This ain't the main ghost town section, but this is actually used to serve as a rest stop back in the 1890s for weary travelers. I don't know which cabin was the newer one, which one was the older one. Maybe that was the older one. But I guess the newer one, the fire marshal back in the 1890s lived here, and he would report like wildfires and things. And then weary travelers traveling up here, you know, the horses and wagons could stop here and take retreat. Man, it's just beautiful though, isn't it? Someone shot up the sign a little bit. Look at that. Just take a walk in here and see what it looks like. Turn on my my mic here. Here we go. Wow, look at this. Man. Says the BLM welcomes you to use the facilities. Please do not steal or vandalize so that others may use them in the future. Thank you. Bureau of Land Management. Look, it even has an actual fire burning stove there. Or, you know, wood burning stove, whatever you want to call it, right? Furnace, fireplace. It's pretty cool. It does say on the sign down at the bottom of the little road that snowmobilers actually use this still in the wintertime when they come up through here when the road's closed, to kind of take refuge, camp out for the night, and, you know, have a little fire going, stay warm. So that's really, really cool. Man. But of course you can see people's already vandalized it a little bit. Carving stuff into the wood. And man. Just imagine somebody looking outside of this window back in the 1800s. Just kind of imagine when you're in here, like, this cabin was actually built way, way, way back before we were alive. And people actually used it. People survived up here, you know. In the dead of winter storms coming through here, cold, you know, had a fire burning in the stove, cooking whatever meal, you know, whatever animal you killed earlier that day to feed your family. Wow. Up here working hard in the gold mines, you know, right? Yeah. It's pretty neat. Look, it's even a blanket from the 1890s. No, not really. It looks like a blanket from a moving company, right? But yeah, pretty nice. Can't wait to see the rest of the cabins in the actual town. I didn't expect this one when I come up around the corner, but yeah. So we kind of got the dirt road right down here. I'm gonna walk up and check out this cabin. That's a really old, that must be the old cabin. Let's walk over here real quick. It looks like they've cut all these trees down or something. Starting to rip it apart, or is that just all natural? Maybe it's just all natural, right? No, I don't think it is, because you can tell where the trees have been cut a long time ago. Wow, kind of sucks. It's a complete different view here. Didn't have this road or anything. It's probably just a wagon trail. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Go peek inside here real quick. That one's a little smaller. No windows. Now, is that just blackened a little bit because of like fire, or? Yeah, maybe it's been burnt. Probably forest fire come through here a long time ago and burnt part of the cabin down. I mean, I don't know, but whatever. All right, let's head up the road and do a little exploring. See you in a minute. Just came across this little viewpoint. I'm gonna walk up here and check it out. Beautiful. Getting a little higher up here. Yeah, we've gained a lot of elevation since the bottom. Oh. It's like as I'm coming up the road, I see a lot of spots to the trees that look like would be a beautiful scenery, but there's just no really clear view, you know. So when I passed this and seen up this little trail, I thought, well, this might be a good area to actually stop and look. Oxygen's a little less up here, but you can tell you get out of breath a lot easier. Wow. You can see way over there is a bunch of like little farms and different things. The whole mountain range in the distance. Here, we'll zoom back up here. Look at that. Just so quiet and so beautiful, other than my car running in the background. Yeah, when I first come up here, I'd actually missed the road. They're doing some construction, you know, and I'd miss the actual turnoff. Of course, you don't want to, you know, always trust your GPS, right? And I ended up taking some other dirt road, and I got about 3 miles up, and it was just getting real rough. Pretty much just tire tracks, you know, and I thought, this ain't the right way. So you can't find, you know, you can't like trust your GPS. You know, it'll get you lost, it'll get you all screwed up. But yeah, but we found the right way, so all right, on we go. All right, everybody. All right, we have officially arrived here. We just got to walk down this trail, and the ghost town's down the trail. First, I had to stop right here and get a little slip there. You got to put $10 inside of a envelope there and exact change. You can put more in, but you ain't gonna get no change, right? But yeah, you got to put it inside the window, you know, because, you know, there is park service and stuff up here, and you will get in trouble if you don't pay. So I mean, it's worth it too, you know. $10 to come see a ghost town. I mean, come on, don't be cheap, right? All right, here's like a little picture of it, how it was back in the day. All the people standing out there, got the wagons, the muddy, nasty roads. Dang. Yeah, here we go. I couldn't imagine how muddy and nasty it was. Like you see a lot of the old pictures, just this wet, sloppy mud. Just, it's like, God, man. Couldn't imagine. Just trying to walk across the street, you know. Anyways, yeah, I can already see it in the distance down there. Yeah. I'm pretty excited, man. This is something I've been wanting to do for a little while. You know, I heard about this ghost town like years and years ago, but you know, you can't really come up here in a semi, obviously, right? But you know, this wasn't a bad trip from the Washington State area, you know, Seattle area. A little over 500 miles. Did 490 miles yesterday. Got to Missoula last night, but I was so wore out, you know. I got a room and ended up, yeah, staying the night. Thank God I still got my CDL, man. I got me my CDL rate, right? So I don't know how far I'll make it tonight, but here we go. Check it out, people. Check it out, man. Wow. This is awesome. Damn. You walk down here, get a good little view. God, check that out, man. Isn't that beautiful? I feel like I'm watching like Little House on the Prairie or something. You wouldn't think there'd be that many people up here, way up in the mountains, right? Yeah. Wow, that's pretty exciting. Oh. Just imagining how it was back in the day, you know. Back when you had all the wagons coming through here, they probably had a lot more houses. And I'm not sure where the main section of town is. I think it's up around there somewhere. But yeah, let's walk down there and get a little closer view. You can actually go in these buildings, so that'll be cool. See you in a minute. After Prohibition ended in 1933, this actual cabin right here was used as a speakeasy or underground tavern. It's awesome. Wow. Back when Prohibition, right before it ended, 1933, people were doing their deed here, right? Well, drinking, right? Getting drunk, probably other things. That's cool. This right here is like something you'd see in an old Western movie. That's cool. I wonder if they filmed any kind of Western movies up here. You think they have? Might have to check that out later. And I never thought about that. Let's go inside and take a look. Hey. Oh, look at this. It's like an old bar. Now, I'm not sure. Is this actually from the 1800s? I'm not sure. You can tell this floor is, though, just by stepping on it. That's cool. An old F-Series, number 314. What's that say? H.J. Bloom. Not sure what year that's from, but that's pretty cool. Imagine having one of these now inside of a cabin. Dang. These things are made pretty sturdy. The old chairs. Of course, you can't forget the piano. Oh, wow. This is like something they'd have in a saloon, right? You know, like you see in the movies. You know, they're playing the piano and you got people playing poker or whatever they play and drinking their beer and getting in trouble. And yeah. Wow. There's even some old newspapers inside the wall. Of course, they have to cover it up so no one steals it, right? It's pretty sad. Look at that. Father of Butte attorney is dead. Man, let's see if I can get a date on here. Oh. 19, what does that say? $13.13. Well, no, not $13.13. I'm just trying to look for a date. That says Thursday, February something. I don't know. We're going to find out here, aren't we? We're going to find out. All I can see is it says the Anaconda Standard, February 4th. And it looks like the dates are actually tore out of it. That's cool. Right, on to the next room. The old back room. It looks like you can't go up the stairs, unfortunately. And stable furniture. Wouldn't that be neat? I wonder what's up there. Let me see if I can pull the selfie stick up and see what's up there here. Let's check it out. Now I can't wait to see what that actually looks like. Nice little closet. Looks like an old back door. Back when the old back door meant something completely different. It's pretty neat. Just think this is still standing after all these years. I was actually reading on their website that this town actually had a lot more buildings, a lot more things. And people would actually come in this century. People come in, like strip the buildings of like a bunch of stuff. Strip staircases out and I mean all sorts of stuff. Stole a bunch of stuff. I thought, man, that's pretty sad. But then Montana ended up coming along and restoring this, you know. So we're keeping at least protected. That's pretty nice. But all right, let's go to the next cabin and see if we can go inside there. Make my day, punk. Dang, you've got the old wooden sidewalks of the 1800s, right? EB. That's old, isn't it? Oh, the old barrels. Wow. What's that, an old sled? Hey, it looks like an old sled. The old gold mining equipment. All right, let's see what they got in here. Man, wow, they got a lot of stuff in here, don't they? Wow, all these old bottles from back in the day. Virginia, what's this say? Virginia Dare. Hills Brothers Coffee, red can brand. Man, that's old, isn't it? Pipe and cigar, tobacco. Man. All this old stuff they've uncovered, you know. That's really interesting. All the old saw blades. Can you imagine cutting down trees like that? You know, we get so used to our modern technology, like chainsaw. I almost forgot the name. Wow. Like chainsaws and everything. You just kind of forget about like what it really took to cut down these massive trees. Man, people were really in shape back then. Just think about it. Even if you ate a lot of calories, you know, you're going to burn all that off. People were really, man, had to really work compared to today. Some old stoves. What's this one say here? It's an old patent model. I don't see a date on it. I don't know. A lot of old artifacts. A lot of heaters. Wow. Old stools. That's cool, isn't it? Whatever that is. Man, even got the old chairs. But just think how cool furniture was made back then, right? The detail they put into it compared to just today. And like, look how long it's stood up over time, you know? Like even this building, it looks like, you know, the wood's kind of thin planks up here, but just think about how many winters and how much weather this thing is, and storms and things that this building's seen, you know? Like if these walls could talk, if you could like just go back in time and see what it looked like inside here in the 1800s, you know? Completely different. Buildings were definitely made a lot better back then, right? And you got some old shoes. They don't look too comfortable, do they? Some old boots. Wow. I guess these must be to like grab the logs maybe and move them. Like, I don't know. What's in here? Let's go check this out. I hear voices. No, it's the last time he was seen. No, this is like a back room. It's dark as hell in there, isn't it? Oh, okay. Some kind of chute they could slide step down. Whew. Maybe that's where they shot down, like put like bales of hay or threw firewood down the hole or something, right? I don't know. Dang, old pickaxes. Check that out. You know, I actually went to Tombstone, Arizona and seen Tombstone. And, you know, everybody hears about Tombstone. Tombstone is so famous, right? The fight at the OK Corral. But you know, they're so strict. They don't want you to like film any videos or do anything, you know, which kind of sucks. But I actually am enjoying this a little more. I think this is more like authentic, more, you know, all the original stuff. I don't know. If you've ever been to Tombstone and you know what I mean, let me know in the comments. Oh, check this out. Old bicycle. And some old skis. That's cool. So they could get up to the back country in the middle of winter. Gotta make it to town, right? And these old wash tubs. Washing clothes took a lot longer then, didn't it? All right, let's take a walk up this road and see what else we can find. It's pretty cool. Oh. Oh, they built a wall up around it back in the day. So you got the old foundation. It's held together, isn't it? Well, that's pretty interesting. This building here, it says, the one we're actually looking at now, it says, Mrs. Wells believed in luxury. She designed Garnet's finest buildings as if it would be gracing the streets of Helena. Carved moldings, stained glass, printed wallpaper, and chandeliers added frills to the solidly constructed three-story hotel. The Garnet community celebrated the hotel's opening with 3 nights of music and dancing. As you walk in the front door, envision opening wood doors carved with intricate designs that framed stained glass windows. The streets were muddy, but the Wells Hotel was definitely elegant. Let's look at it. Right now, as you're walking up, got the wagon pulling up right here, getting all your luggage off from the long wagons right across Montana. Or maybe you came somewhere from like St. Louis or Massachusetts and you're heading out west to try to, you know, better your life for you and your family. And you pull up in front of this fancy hotel. Back in the day, you can hear the music playing inside as everybody's having a good time, you know, the Grand Hotel, right? That'd be cool. Just imagine it. Look, there's people in there. A lot of people here today, isn't there? Man, got the old grand furnishings. Wow. Probably walking in and got the reception right here and probably some tables to sit at and serve you your food, serve you your drinks. Maybe where men sat around and talked about how they were going to strike it rich, you know, they were going to strike gold and strike it rich and really make a name for themselves, you know, or people telling stories about a big chunk of gold they found, or, yeah. Man. Even got the old bowls, the old plates, the old iron skillets. Check that out. The original ones. It says, what I am, what I am. What I am, what am I? Turn me over to find out. What is this? It looks like a big lampshade, right? It's a baby walker. Wow, yeah, didn't even see that. Set your baby inside there and he walks around. To me, it looks like a lampshade. And when you first look at it, you don't really glance down and notice these little wheels. But to me, it looked like a lampshade. Now, what's this? Does anybody know what this is? This is used to classify minerals by size. Oh, different size holes, right? What's this right here? Stove leg. Okay, well, all right. Then we got an old car horn. Wow, old car horn. Holy crap! I don't think they had cars back in the early 1800s, right? And you got a school desk leg, which you can kind of tell once you read it. What? Okay. And you got this old thing. Isn't that part of like a phone or something? Like a crank-it or something maybe? I don't know. Nope. Cedar or millet spreader. Wow. I got that one wrong, didn't I? Wow. That was completely way off. Man. Dang. Look at the design inside the seat. That would have been a fancy seat back in the day. Now you got the kitchen area, it looks like. Yeah, because you can see where they used to cook food and all the smoke would go up inside there, right? Maybe have the window cracked open to get some of it going out. Back where they were cooking up some food for their guests. Cooking up some slop, right? Look at this old stove. Holy crap. Man. Dang, got the little burners here. Got the old fire going. Warming up some stuff. Your old pans and old pots. And I bet this got nice and hot, you know. Especially in the winter, I bet it kind of felt good, you know, warming up the place a little bit. You know, actually, believe it or not, when I was little, I grew up in the southeastern Kentucky in the mountains and down a holler. And I remember my grandma had a wood burning stove. That's how she would cook breakfast every morning, on a wood burning stove. Yeah. And we didn't have just running water like for the bathtub and stuff. Everything was pumped from a well. So it's like, now you think about technology, it's like, man, I still grew up with some of that stuff, right? Just like towards the end of that, but yeah. Anyways. Hey, look at this beautiful old door. Looks like maybe there used to be a stove right here, you think? Maybe a pipe came down and had a stove in front of it. Or maybe the pipe ran across here somewhere. Yeah. You got the original futon bed of 1823. No, really, I don't know, but hey. Now, I'm sure you wouldn't want to sleep on that, but man, just think about after coming off the wagon trail and then getting on something like this, it'd be a luxury, wouldn't it? All right, hey, let's go upstairs and see what they have upstairs here. Or in this little room, which is kind of blocked off. Damn, that's an old couch. Holy crap. Dust it up. Nice little bed to lay down on. Probably for your therapist back in the day, right? Yeah, right. Therapist back in the day was this harsh reality, right? Here we go. Check it into room 2, people. I like these old railings. Look at the old sturdy railings. Still polished up and look nice. The floor kind of looks too thin to stand on, don't it? Old sewing machine, bed, stove. Man, look at that. What's that for your girdle? Back for the women, the old girdle days. Sure, they blocked us off by so people don't steal it. Yeah. All right. This was the hotel, man. This is where you be staying. Man. The old treasure chest. No, the old chest for your clothing. Damn, old blankets. Look at that. Would that be like a blanket from the 1800s or not? Maybe. Who knows? This is pretty cool. Wow. Yep, the old pipe coming up through the room to keep everything warm. I bet you did get a lot of heat off that pipe inside this room. This might be the good room to stay in. The grandest hotel.
Construction was remarkable back then.
This attic's pretty nice. This must be the suite. I like how they have the old windows built into the side of the house. All right. It's like an old dog sled. Look at that. It's cool. All right. Go see what. I was just reading on a little sign there inside the cabin, or inside the hotel here, the one we just walked through. And it said, like, back in the 1800s, a Swedish immigrant named Anna had taken the train from Missoula, Montana to Bearmouth, Montana. But the stage didn't wait on train passengers that had already left. So she had to start a new job at this hotel, cooking breakfast, you know, for people staying at the hotel. But that didn't faze her. Being unfazed in the middle of the night, she walked 12 miles up into the mountains on a wagon road just to arrive at this hotel to cook people breakfast at 5 o'clock in the morning. Wow. Things that people had to do back then. Can't call an Uber, right? Gotta do what you gotta do, but that's amazing. Me personally, would I want to hike 12 miles up in the mountains in the middle of the dark? No, I'm a little nervous. I'd probably get attacked by something, right? But wow, just amazing story. I mean, just think about how many amazing stories of the people who once lived here or any other town from back in the day. Like, wow, just that's pretty cool. We're gonna share that. All right. Dang, look how short this doorway is compared to me. Imagine what it looked like back when there was 1,000 people here and a lot more houses. Because on the picture up top, it shows like downtown, you know, like all the buildings and all the people, but that might have been right there on that road down there that we just came on. Probably. I see a lot of people with booklets and stuff telling them what everything is, but I didn't see no booklets up there. I think this one even had a front porch. Ooh, them boards are real. Dang, this is a big cabin, wouldn't it? That's cool. Them boards are real flimsy. You know, sometimes I say, oh, I wish I could go back in time when things were simpler, you know, but really, were they that simple? You know, I don't think so. I mean, it's a lot harder, right? All the struggles just to do like small things, like go from here to Missoula, Montana would be just a long journey. I don't know. I'm glad I live when I live, right? It kind of makes me enjoy technology a little more, but not so much like TV and things, right? But just I don't know what I'm talking about. All right. like there used to be a part of another part of the house here. Maybe. Wow. It says Mary Jane and her parents shared these two rooms. She often played with a doll and a buggy, but her best friend in town with few children was her beloved black cat. When Sam Adams' ill health forced them to move to Missoula, they had to wait a year before they could return to move the furniture. The cat had to find a new home in Garnet. Okay. It says, we brought our two trunks on the stage and left in a hurry. We had to leave most everything. I can still see my kitty on the porch looking at me as I drove off. Mary Jane Adams, Morin. Dang. Wow. It's crazy. I wonder who moved in there after they left. Or if they just sold it to somebody, or back then people just take it over. Right? Supposed to be a school down here somewhere. Huh. Let me go look. Beautiful. Check out this cabin. It says, back in 1917, Frank Davy of Davy's Store offered a miner's cabin to newlyweds until they could build their own dwelling, or until the next wedding bells rang, whichever came first. The town's many married couples helped shape the family atmosphere that distinguished Garnet from typical mining boom towns. It's really cool. Oh, there's another stove, yeah. Economy, it says. I wonder how long it took for people to get stoves once they bought them up to here, right? Some old mining stuff. They bust into the rock, drill in there and stick dynamite in there or something, right? Blow it up. Yeah. All right, this building here says it's a Justice Auto Repair Shops. Kept our cars moving on the road. Billy's Liberty Blacksmith kept horses shod and wagons moving. He worked the bellows of a fiery forge and artificially shaped red-hot iron as on his anvil. If you walk inside sometime after 1898, you'd see horseshoes of all sizes hanging on the wall and a stall for 2 horses. A tub of water stood handy by the forge. Liberty also sharpened picks for the miners and forged common household items. The smithy rivaled Davy's store at the town's linchpin, or as the town's linchpin. That's cool. Check it out. The old blacksmith. Well, it's a lot bigger in here than it actually looks. It's pretty cool, isn't it? And check out this old wagon wheel. Man. Them wagons had a lot of clearance, didn't they? It's the off-roading vehicles of the 1800s. I wonder how long it took to build a cabin like this. Imagine there'd be horses in here right now. Oh. Look at that. You'd be pushing that thing wherever it was located at, trying to get that fire hot enough to do your blacksmithing. Man, that's cool, isn't it? All right. Looks pretty cool. One last look. Actually, I think there might be a building up there I haven't even looked at. So let's walk up there. Check this out. It's an old wagon. I'm glad I walked up here. Man. Is that cool? You can hear people listen. Wow. You can hear the piano so easy now. Just think how you heard it when they were playing it back then, right? I'm sure there was a lot of noise from like horses and buggies and people walking around, you know, too. But yeah. Were people a lot shorter back then? Because I'm almost touching my head on these. Yeah. That's cool. The old wagon. Wow, that's awesome.
You can't see them lasting too much longer. One of the cabins up there, or no, it's the jail. There's a jail up the street.
I forgot to mention that first building that we went in was actually a saloon. It was bought in 1898 from a guy for $1,500, which was a lot back then. And he would serve drinks up to the thirsty miners. Get one of our last looks at this old ghost town. Dang. I would stay here at night. That'd be kind of cool. Stay the night somewhere in here. That cabin there has like newer piping. There's one around there. I think you can rent those cabins and stay in them for the night. So that's pretty cool. Just think like when all the tourists are gone from here and it's just really, really quiet. All you hear at night is this sound of the creek. Maybe have like a fire going in the cabin and just, that'd be a really good experience, wouldn't it? Yeah. Well, this is where I'm going to end the video of this ghost town here, Garnet Ghost Town. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Enjoyed seeing the inside of some of these 1800s buildings. I know I really did. I enjoyed it. Really did. It's pretty cool to see, just imagining like the life people had, you know, back then, which I'm sure it wasn't great for most of them, you know. A lot of hardships. Everything was hard. Nothing was easy. everything you did was hard, physical. You know, you had to be strong or you're dead, you know. I mean, that's it. But I kind of look around here and I wonder how many grizzly bear encounters did they have back then, or bear encounters coming into the camp. But I'm sure back then they'd probably just shoot the bear and eat it, right? I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, of course you can't just go shooting all the bears now, but especially like grizzly bears. But back then, you know, it was a little different. You had to survive. Animals were food. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It was a really cool experience, and now I can say that we all came up here. You guys came with me, and we came up and seen an 1800s ghost town in the mountains. Well, until next time, you guys take it easy. See you on the next adventure. See you later.